Well, hello, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to do the first in a series of in the studio videos. And what I want to do is share my own process of a new project I've got going on, which is making monotypes. And what I'll be doing is printing very small original works of art, one of a kind each. So instead of a series, and I'm still thinking about it, so if it's a series, it might end up being monoprints if I use a similar background for all of them, and then just each one gets maybe different lines painted. I don't know, haven't quite figured it out yet. And today's just the first one, and I'm sitting here at my desk, and I've already recorded sort of flip-throughs of these 3 sketchbooks for you. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on here really quickly like this. So one of the sketchbooks I did a flip-through is what I call my index, and it's basically where I keep track of a lot of the symbols that show up in my work, because I've done a lot of stamp making, and just for years now, for decades, I've used the same symbols over and over in my stamps. And when I discovered Evafoam for stamp making, I sort of went back into all that, because I have a whole box of linoleum cut stamps, and they were just sitting in a box because I stopped using them because they require a lot of pressure, and I just really wasn't quite sure how I was going to get back to those. But the Evafoam has opened up endless possibilities, and so here we are. I've got this nice little book where I can play with my symbols. I love maps, and it's just a way to remind myself of all the shapes and types of lines I like to use, and how I like to connect my shapes to each other, and then how it ends up looking map-like. But the part that I show you in the flip-through are these types of shape combinations. So this is just a very normal sketchbook. You can see how thin the paper is because the marker's bleeding right through. So this is just a fat marker with a lot of quick doodles. So I've got a video for you that shows all those doodles. And then the other thing I started with now, going into this idea of making prints, is an older sketchbook where I had started this idea of pattern play, and I'm always working in series actually, so I'll be surprised if I don't end up making a series of prints. But this was, and I've got a flip through of all these pages as well, where I was really sort of playing with the idea of 3 types of shapes and lines that can create a pattern. So there was a swirly leaf-like shape with wavy lines. There was this triangle pattern, which made me think of like diamonds, I don't know, and then the very curvy arcs, rainbows, organic shape, which sometimes look to me like a cactus, shapes stacking one on the other. So I go through this sketchbook for you and in a quick flip through, and I end up just finishing off where so this is where I left it. I did some watercolors, and then I didn't know how to proceed. So I've got like 3 quick watercolors I did with each of these pattern play ideas, and that's where this book was left off, probably 1.5 years ago. So I'm just wanted to remind myself of what I was doing here, because I do still like the idea. I wanted to review all my shapes and see if I couldn't combine them really loosely. And now we're getting to the meat of the situation here, because this is what I'll be showing you from now on, are all these experiments I'm doing on these giant zines. So these are giant pieces of paper I've folded so that I get these mini books out of them. And here I am literally just letting myself play I've never used inks before, so this is brand new to me, to mess around with just inks and water the way you might with watercolors, but then to come back in with really scraggly lines. I'm really loving that. And I'm not much of I don't think I do a lot of flowers, but I was messing around with the idea. And here again you can see using the ink to combine these shapes, sort of my maps, except it's less map-like and more stacked. But anyway, so this is what I am working towards. Just experimenting with the ink in ways I've never done before, getting super messy. So I go through all of these because I actually combine them all and put a band around them. So there's one video of all of these.